Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who learned to teach others taught us the truth. This is Brother Yashimai from the GMS Atlantic Camp, and I wanted to go into First Samuel 3 today and grab a couple scriptures and some precepts because as I was reading this morning, I couldn't help but see the parallels that Samuel went through, and I'm sure that we have all gone through when we first came into this truth. So let's go ahead and get it. This is First Samuel 3, verse 1. It says, "And the child Samuel ministered unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai before Eli. And the word of the Most High was precious in those days. There was no open vision." And that's where we are today. And this is especially where things were in 1969 when the truth began to come back into the dry bones mentioned in Ezekiel, which those dry bones, by the way, are the so-called blacks, native, and Hispanics, which are the true Hebrew Israelites mentioned in the scriptures. This vision that we have today, the 100% truth, that is something that is very, very precious because this world doesn't have it. Christianity doesn't have it. These other heathens, they don't have it. And this vision that you have, the vision that Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai put into you, all right, when you were born, all right, that vision is very precious. What is the vision, by the way? The vision is knowing that Yahweh Shai is a so-called black man. The vision is understanding reincarnation. The vision is understanding that salvation isn't for everybody other than the Israelites, and even more specific, other than the 1/3 and the 144,000, which shall be saved when the judgment comes to Babylon. AKA America, man. Nobody has the vision. We have it. Call Halayim Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Now, from verse 3, I'm going to jump down to verse 9. All right. And brothers know the context, right? Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai calls Samuel 3 times, and Samuel is thinking that it's Eli, the high priest, which is calling him, and it's not. It's Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Now, I'm going to get 9 and 10, and then we'll jump back and get 7. Verse 9. Therefore, Eli said unto Samuel, Go, lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place, and the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. And that's what happened with us. See, those first, 3 times when the Most High was calling Samuel, Samuel was going to Eli. Eli wasn't calling him. Matter of fact, when you go into the history, one chapter, First Samuel chapter 2, Eli had judgment pronounced over him by Yahweh Shai. But yet Samuel went to Eli. It was the Most High calling Samuel. And what is that parallel to? That's when we first came into the truth. When, whether we scrolled by a YouTube video or whether we walked by the camp, right? That was the first calling when we first heard that we were the Hebrew Israelites. That was the first calling. Give, give me 1 second. Slacker. That was the first calling. The first calling was when we heard something and we went back to sleep. We went back into the world because that's what Samuel did. He went back and he lied down, and then he called again and again, and that's when the truth really finds ground inside of you. When when you finally get over whatever stepping stone that you had to get over, whether it was fully understanding uh, uh, destruction of this place, whether it was, finally or fully understanding that the self proclaimed white man is Esau Edom and that he is the devil, whether it was understanding that there is no such thing as the virgin birth, that's when everything came together. And check out the response that Samuel said. It said, then Samuel answered, "Speak, for thy servant heareth." And that's where we are now. That's why we do the work, because now, now that we've gotten over whatever stepping stone that we may be dealing with, now we've thrown this world to the wayside and said, we want you. How about you, have a shot? Speak. Now, I want to get that word here. We'll get that word speak. What is that? First Samuel 10. Now, check this out. Because when when the Most High calls you and you humble yourself, the Most High speaks to you. And what is the definition for the word speak? Well, in the Hebrew, that's the bar. And check it out. It says to declare, to converse. And check out that last definition, to sing. When you humble yourself and you come into this truth and you ask Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to speak, he converses with you. He gives you prophecy. He gives you understanding of the scriptures. You can now go back into the scriptures that you may have read in Christianity, all right? But, you know, now it's got a much deeper meaning. A good one that always comes to mind is I remember in the Christian church when they would say, if you're tired, scripture says, let the weak say, I am strong. Well, now we know what that means. Now Yahweh Shem Yahushua has declared to us what that means. And as we continue to get into these scriptures, man, the Most High converses with us. What does the scripture say? I stand at the door and knock. If anyone answer, I shall come in and sup with him, right? Converse with them. Yahweh Shem Yahushua speaks to you, speaks to us now, man. And this isn't something boasting. Ephesians 2 verse 8 says that none should boast because this wasn't anything we did, right? But we're boasting in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. We're boasting in His truth, okay? But I want to hone in on that word "sing," man, because Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai has sung to us the new song. Got some precepts pulled up here. Revelations 14 and 3. And they sung as they were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. That debar, that's it speak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's when he begins to sing to you, to sing this new song. And what is this new song? Well, I've already mentioned it. It's the 100% truth, man. Now we're able to go into now when you throw away what this world has to offer and you incline your ear to the 100% truth, now you're able to sing. Now you can open up any video as long as it's according to the 100% truth, which is fed by the elders and the prophets of GMS. Now you can open up any video by the Akim and you can sing. Oh, yeah, yeah. There's that beat. There's that lyric. There's that prophecy. Now we can sing, man. This is a beautiful thing. The vision is scarce, man. These people don't got it. But now check this out. Now let's go back here. Let me get something to drink. I got a stuffy nose and a dry throat. So like verse 7. Verse 7. Now, I skipped verse 7 for a reason. Let's go back to it though. Now Samuel did not yet know the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Neither was the word of the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai yet revealed unto him. Now, when I read this, I'm like, well, hold on. Wow. Well, wait a minute. The context, when you go into chapter 2, when Samuel is born, his mother Hannah, had given him to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And so Samuel, from an early age, stayed in the temple. He was doing the work of the Most High. All right, he was in the temple. Matter of fact, verse 3, which is where, verse 1, which is where we started, what does it say? And the child Samuel ministered unto Yahweh Shem Yahweh before Eli. So, yeah, so when when we go to verse 7, how can Samuel minister to the Most High in verse 1? But the word wasn't made known unto him because he didn't know, he didn't fully understand. And that's us. You know, in Christianity, in Mormonism, in Islam, whatever, it's all darkness, it's all death, it's all lies, whatever it may have been, we thought we were ministering, all right? But it wasn't until Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai reveals his word to you that you finally know the Most High. Matter of fact, let's get some word there, okay? And we're almost done with this video. This is a short one. I just wanted to put this into the ether. Did not know, okay? That word is yadai in the Hebrew. And that word is to learn, to perceive, to discriminate, to distinguish, to find out and discern. Now we're able to discern, man. The Yahushua told his apostles that the Spirit would come into you and reveal all things again. Now we're able to understand the same thing that our forefathers understood. Do you under, do you get how big that is? Now our forefathers understood that salvation was only for the Israelites. I want to get that word discern, man. That's a heavy word here. Let's get discern on the, man, I ain't right now. Let's get discern here. It says to perceive, to recognize the difference or distinction between two or more things. Now we can now we can go into the scriptures and we can see, hey, this is what the scriptures actually say, and this is what the world says. Now we can discern it because before we couldn't discern it. Why? We've been called. What did he tell Jeremiah? Before you were in the womb, I knew thee. We've been called. So now, uh, I want to go from there because being called isn't just it, man. Matter of fact, we'll get that scripture. Many are called, many are called, but few are chosen. And then we'll get into KJV. Matthew 22 and 14. For many are called, but few are chosen. Samuel was called, you know. I was called. You were called. Akim were called. But even though we're called, that it doesn't mean, oh, I can sing the song, I can hear the beat. Okay, cool. You gotta then you have to have faith that you're gonna be chosen, man. Because what's the parable that Yahushua gave about the wedding? When he called many, right? After they had stoned his prophets, he told his prophets to go into the highways, byways, grab whoever you can and call them into the wedding. So many were called into the wedding. A lot of us are called. Right now, if you're listening to this video, if you're inclining your ear to the 100% truth, you've been called. But that's not where it stops. Now you have to have faith. This thing takes faith because you have to have faith that you've not just been called, but you've been chosen. Because in that parable of those being called into the wedding, somebody was in the wedding with the wrong garment on. So what does that mean? You can be called into this thing. You can get into this truth. You can get into the camp. You can get in, you can get at the threshold of the wedding, right? Just as the parable was. And you can still be taken out. You can still not be chosen. And that's why this thing takes faith, man. Because see, the mentality of our people is, oh, well, if I can hear the song, I'm good. No, you've been called, but you have to be chosen. What's the story of King David? Uh, uh, King King David, I believe he had seven brothers. King David had seven brothers, and they were all called, right? Samuel went, and they were all called. And when you go into the names of the brothers, Abinadab comes to mind. This is an in transit video. I can't really get to it, but all of his brothers were called, but only one was chosen. And this thing of ours takes faith. And so now, what are you to do? What are you to do? You've been called, but you don't know if you're chosen. Well, the scripture says to put on as the elect. Act like if you've been chosen, and then those qualities, right? Those qualities will pursue you, right? Because what did the scripture say? You shall know a tree by its fruits. Well, if you're doing the work, if you're consistent, if you're sincere in this thing, then chances are that you have been chosen, going into the elect. There's a lot of brothers that are in this truth, man. And look, man, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm young in this truth, okay? But the point is this, man, is that there are brothers that have been in this truth for a long time. The Apostle Tahar just said last week, there was like, I guess he would be called an elder, but there was an elder that was in the truth since 1969. He had been called, but you know what happened? He he stopped. He left the truth, man. This thing of ours takes faith. All right. Scripture says in Salakia. I know that I'm, paraphrasing. I should be pulling them. Got a break in the. Hold on a minute. Oh gosh, I just brain farted. Oh my gosh, I just brain farted. Salakia. Just completely lost my train of thought. Wow. Going into being called, man. You can be in this thing for years at the threshold of the wedding and still, there you go. Show me your faith. Yeah, there you are. My faith by my works, by my works, KJV. There you go. The water Yahweh, the water Yahweh Shai. James 2 and 18. Yeah, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. So put it on as the elect, put on as the chosen. Don't just come into this thing and I mean, yeah, be glad that you've been called, but continue to labor so that you may solidify the fact and the possibility that you may be chosen. I hope this has been edifying. I know I'm kind of all over the place. I thought that this was going to be a short video, but the Spirit led where the Spirit's going to lead. Look, we've been called into this thing. All right, we've asked Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to speak, to sing unto us the new song. We have the vision, which is precious because it's not upon the entire land. And the vision is clear. Matter of fact, I had that. And Yahweh Hashem Yahushai answered me. He didn't answer the world. This is the conversation, right? That was the definition for the bar. This is the declaring, right? This is the supping. This is the communication between two people, right? Because before we came into this truth, it was just us talking. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua wasn't talking to us because if he was, you wouldn't have been in Christianity. Now this is a conversation being had here. And the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. And we're running. We're running with this vision that has been given to us, man. All right. This is so look, just to circle back and to, enclose this thing. We have all been called. Let's and so far we've given the correct response, which is speak, sing, talk to me. Baba Kashab, talk to me, sing the bar. But now the work must continue so that we're not just called, but that we're chosen. To the next one, Shalom.